Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining today's presentation. It's a pleasure to be here with you at the Meeting on the Med virtual conference. My name is Dennis Powers, and I'll be taking you through a case study today for a cell therapy facility project that my company, GCON Manufacturing, executed for one of our key clients. And the project is a great case study and a great example of what we're seeing today in the cell therapy space in order to meet the growing need for manufacturing capacity. So I'll first provide a brief overview of GCON along with the pod technology, as well as its benefits in order to provide the necessary context. And then we'll get into the details of the case study. So GCON Manufacturing was founded in 2009 in College Station, Texas. And it was actually born out of the personalized cancer vaccine industry, where at that time, there was a small team of innovators who actually came up with the pod, autonomous pod concept in order to meet their needs for expanding clinical manufacturing space. And at that time, there was nothing like the pod available out on the market. So this team actually started GCON in order to address that unmet need. And since our inception, the company has delivered over 200 pods to date for multiple projects and clients, over half of which have been in the regenerative medicine space. So we have an ISO 9001 certified manufacturing site in College Station, Texas, as well as manufacturing in Ireland for our European clients, and also have plans to expand into China in the near future. So what is an autonomous cleanroom pod? So simply put, it's a cleanroom system that integrates all of the structural and architectural elements of the cleanroom, along with the mechanical, electrical, and automation elements required for its operation. So the image you see here in the lower left illustrates standard pod design with cleanroom, airlocks in the front, and integrated mechanical area in the back end. We're essentially designing and fabricating the clean room in a factory just like you would any piece of process equipment. We're then testing it, shipping it to the project site where it's installed, connected to utilities, and then qualified within a very abbreviated time frame. And the installed pod system can range anywhere from a small single lab space to a large commercial ballroom production facility. They can be installed either in a new greenfield building or within an existing building at ground level, or at the in the upper floor of an existing building, as well, as you see in the lower right. So the benefits of prefabrication can really be significant for a drug manufacturer that needs to establish or expand its facilities. Whether it be a small startup company with limited experience and resources, or a large, well-established biopharma company with a global footprint. The benefits, of course, are always related to their impact on time and money, and offsite prefabrication certainly allows for more reliable project costing, as well as reduced and more predictable schedules. And this is largely due to the clean rooms being fabricated within a well-controlled factory environment, following standard designs and procedures, rather than being constructed at the job site using multiple suppliers and subcontractors, all which have to be coordinated and managed. The shortened timelines are also driven by parallel build activities of both the clean rooms and the shell building, rather than the sequential activities that you would typically see in traditional construction. And while time and money are still the primary drivers, there's a third factor that's really becoming more prevalent in the industry, and that's flexibility. Today's manufacturers, they need their facilities to be more adaptable in order to better respond to changes in the market and their manufacturing network. And the pods offer that flexibility in their ability to provide more efficient scale out, isolation and segregation when needed, as well as the ability to relocate or redeploy the pods to a different site if needed. And the growing demand for this type of prefabricated cleanroom solution is reflected in the projects and the clients that GCON has worked with, especially in the regenerative medicine space. As you can see here, GCON projects have spanned across multiple applications and modalities and include well-known global pharma companies and CMOs, as well as small to mid-size innovator companies and university systems. Today's case study is going to focus on a cell therapy facility project that GCON executed for one of its clients, GenCure. So first, a little background on the company GenCure, who are a subsidiary of BioBridge Global, along with the other organizations that you see in the lower right of the screen. They're a CMO. They specialize in advanced therapies, and they provide their clients with a broad range of services, including material sourcing, development, manufacturing, testing, logistics, and all of these services are anchored by a world-class quality management system. GenCure currently operates 2 facilities in San Antonio, Texas, a pilot scale facility that's been in operation since 2018, and a clinical scale operation that was launched back in 2020. And it's that clinical scale facility that's the focus of today's case study. So in 2019, GCON provided its clean room systems for GenCure's new clinical facility that was being built at the Velocity Texas Innovation Center in San Antonio. And this facility was critical to the company's strategy for expanding its capabilities in order to provide their clients with additional manufacturing services, including production scale up, in order for them to accommodate their growing client base who need their therapies manufactured for their clinical trials. And some of the project requirements and challenges are listed here. First, the facility was to be built within an existing building that was part of the historic Merchants Ice Complex. You can see photos here on the right side. It was a very old building site located not too far from downtown San Antonio. The facility, of course, needed to be cGMP compliant with the ability to accommodate multiple processes for multiple clients. Therefore, it had to be designed with the appropriate level of segregation, but also coupled with process flexibility. The facility needed to be designed with expansion in mind in order to allow GenCure to add more cleanroom space in the future as the company continued to grow its business. And from the very early stages, GenCure knew that they wanted to leverage offsite prefabrication in order to minimize the on-site construction activities and complexity. And this was really to allow their staff to focus on managing their CMO operations rather than managing a construction project. So the pod solution that GCON developed with GenCure was based on a 6,200 square foot multi-suite layout, constructed of 14 pods and providing cGMP cleanroom space for multiple processes and support operations. So they're dedicated supply and return corridors and airlocks, which provided unidirectional flow to reduce the risk of cross-contamination. The pod's integrated HVAC system with dedicated air handlers provided both the necessary cleanroom environment and segregation, and as well integrated single pass air within certain suites. Pod PLC system controls the HVAC system as well as the room environments, and also provides for door interlocks and environmental monitoring. From the start of the project, the GenCure team really saw the value in leveraging GCON's experience in designing cell therapy facilities as well as its standard pod configurations. And that allowed us to move through the project efficiently with minimal customization, which we know could have significant impact on cost and schedule. The pods were fully assembled and tested at the GCON facility and then shipped to the site where the GCON team rapidly installed, assembled, and performed all site acceptance testing. So on this slide, you can see some of the interior image of the pod clean rooms. And one thing to point out is that when you're inside a clean room pod, it's really not any different than being in any other clean room that was built by traditional methods. So the architectural finishes are exactly the same. Really, the real difference is in how the clean rooms are constructed and delivered. And in the center here, you can see the existing pod suites as well as the potential area for future expansion where additional pods can be added to provide more clean room when needed. Okay. And the overall, the project had a very positive outcome with both the client's budget and schedule expectations being exceeded. Using the prefabricated approach, which included the factory and on-site qualification testing, the GCON team was really able to reduce GenCure's timeline to operation, right, allowing them to bring in their new clients, as well as allowing them for the future expansion as they grow the business. The testimonials and feedback received from the client, was that the pods were absolutely the right choice for their CMO facility based on the inherent flexibility and segregation, and that pods were a significant improvement over the traditional facility construction approaches that their team had used in the past. And most importantly, the GenCure and GCON team work together closely, not as customer and supplier, but as partners throughout the entire project. And they, both organizations continue to do so today. So really the clinical facility project with GenCure was a great success story for both companies because it really demonstrated the key benefits that cell therapy manufacturers and CMOs can realize when designing and building a new cGMP facility using a prefabricated modular approach. And these benefits, not only have a positive impact on schedule and the total cost of ownership, but they also provide that inherent flexibility and scalability. They're a significant improvement over traditional construction, and they're very well aligned with where the regenerative medicine industry is going today. Right, we know today there are over 1,000 therapeutic developers globally with over 1,200 products in the pipeline. In the clinic, and all of these are going to need manufacturing capacity and facilities. And we believe that the GenCure project is a great example of how these companies can really realize their strategies and achieve their goals going into the future. So thank you for your time today. Enjoy the rest of the conference.